So I wanted to show you this pattern that I recognize in the charts. And, you know, all the long-term traders may see this. I've only been trading for a year and a half. I recognize patterns. It's my personality type. It's a part of my human design. But this is how I show my community about supply and demand. So this is a daily chart, you guys. And what I've noticed about supply and demand is that if I get an engulfing candle coming out of another zone, once I get that engulfing candle, which this can be considered an order block or however you want to see it, but I see it as an engulfing candle. Once I get this, the next candles are going to be, you know, an imbalance. Most of you all know this is fair value gaps, okay? The next 3 candles are always going to be a gap. What I've noticed after I get those gaps in the market, the next candle after that should be a red candle. So yesterday I was on a one-on-one call and I told my mentee, I said, tomorrow should be a red day, right? What we need from gold, and this is not me predicting the market. This is just me seeing the patterns over and over again. In order for gold to continue, we need an engulfing candle above this, and we need this pattern again, if this makes sense. And you have a demand zone right here, and even on the smaller timelines, it's the same thing. It is the same patterns over and over again. Engulfing, 1, 2, 3, pull back, engulfing. You got a red candle here, 1, 2, 3. Like it's the same pattern all over again. Look at this. I'm pretty sure this is a demand zone or something that it tapped into here. Engulfing candle, 1, 2, 3. Like it's always a pattern, you guys. Even on the smaller time frames, it's going to do it over and over again. And something that I help my mentees understand about supply and demand, in order for you to get another supply zone, it has to tap into a supply zone. In order for you to get another demand zone, it has to tap into another demand zone. And which demand zone is it going to tap into? We may never know. However, if I get demand zones this close together, this is an indication for me that it's going to get the deeper discount before it returns back to the upside. Why? Because there's unfilled orders down here. Gold has been moving so fast to the point where there's unfilled orders down here. And also you have to think of liquidity like a rubber band, like a slingshot. It needs the momentum to continue because we haven't gotten a pullback like this in gold since we was down here in this area, right? And then remember when gold was like, not sure why it's not going back that far. Remember when gold, there we go, was accumulating all those weeks, it just would not break out of that range. When it finally broke out, it's just been on the up and up, right? So how do you think these things are going to keep going? It needs to pull back. So if y'all can recognize these patterns in the market, whenever you get a rejection out of a key area, like this just hit the previous day low, right? When you get a rejection out of a key area like that and not a closure, to me, that's an indication that this thing is going to turn around, right? Key levels are apparent and very important when it comes to your market. Also, if I'm using a 5-minute orb, I notice that price always pulls back to the orb. And whatever the high or the low is for Friday, if those aren't tackled on Friday, Monday open is going to retrace back to that, right? So I just wanted to show you that. Also with Bitcoin, look at Bitcoin engulfing, and this is on a daily chart. You got a daily demand zone right here, right? You have engulfing, 1, 2, 3. You got your candles. It printed a little bit more, pulled back, bought up, pulled back some more. So this week for Bitcoin, let's go to our 4-hour chart. I'm on my 4-hour chart right now. Bitcoin could be a selling week if we can't pull back above up towards the weekly high. But guess what? It just tapped into this 4-hour demand zone. So Bitcoin should be able to reclaim the all-time high. We have one more day, which tomorrow ends it. But you know, Bitcoin runs over the weekend. So it's going to retrace enough to give it enough momentum. But we have a zone right here tapped into. Then you have an engulfing candle, right? It's the same patterns over and over and over again. So if y'all can understand that, It'll make your trading a whole lot easier. The only thing that I teach in my community is supply and demand and the 5-minute orb and how to use those together. We recognize the patterns, you know, and we recognize the key levels. And y'all, that's pretty much all you need. Y'all don't need all that extra sauce. So I hope this was helpful. Explaining this to you was helpful, so that it makes you understand like how to use supply and demand. This is just a brief analysis, right? I go into detail about market structure in my mentorship.